Hi, sixth graders. This video is on powers and exponents. Make sure you label the top of your page where you're taking notes as powers and exponents. Our learning targets are being able to write exponents as a product of factors, writing a power in exponential form, and being able to evaluate powers. So before we talk about powers and exponents, I want to look at this example. So if we think about sending text messages to friends, say you send one text message, and you start and you send one, and then after 1 minute, that friend texts 2 people, and then after 1 minute, those 2 friends text 2 more people. And then after 1 minute, now all of those new people text 2 more people. Basically what is happening and is an exponential pattern. So everything is being multiplied by 2. So basically I texted 1 person and then they texted 2 and then times 2 because they each texted 2 and then each one of those texted 2. So it would be 2 times 2 times 2 and that pattern would keep going. So if we look here, what is a power and what is an exponent? These are words that I want you to write down because they're vocabulary words, and you could just really write it as power / exponent because they're used interchangeably and they basically mean the same thing. So if we go down here and we write 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, this would be the same as 2 to the 4th power. So right here, you could write this example and then label the 4. The 4 is the power or the exponent, which tells us how many times the 2 is being multiplied by, or how many times the number is being multiplied by. So if we had to repeatedly multiply one given number, how could you represent that? Basically, you could use a power or an exponent to do that. This is also something that I would like you to write in your notebook because these are really important vocabulary words. So if you want to pause and write this web of words really quick, you could do that. Otherwise, you could pause it as after I'm done and write it in. So powers, okay, we start with powers, and all of these things have to do with powers. So squared means to the power of 2. So 3 squared just means 3 to the power of 2. Cubed means to the power of 3. So like 4 to the 3rd power would mean, and we would say 4 cubed. Here we would say 3 squared. The base is the number that is being multiplied. So 4 to the 5th power, this 4 is the base. So that is what we're going to multiply by, and then remember the power is how many times we would multiply it. And then the exponent, which we already talked about, is the power so it's basically the number. It's telling us how many times we are multiplying a number by each other. So 5 to the 6th power, the 6 tells us that we are going to multiply the 5 6 times. And then factors just corresponds with the base and the exponent. So basically if we have 6 to the 8th power, the exponent, which is 8, is corresponding to the number of times the base, which is 6, is being used as a factor. And a factor is just numbers multiplied together to get a certain number. So 6 times 6 times 6 times 6, those are all factors of what would be the product of 6 to the power of 8. All right, so writing powers as products. So we want to read this carefully. It says, write each power as a product of the same factor. Product means multiplication, and then factor is numbers being multiplied by each other. So 7 to the 5th power would be 7 times 7 times 7 times 7 times 7, because we have 7 and it's being multiplied 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, which corresponds with our power. 3 squared, or 3 to the 2nd power, is 3 times 3. So that's all we're doing. Write each power as a product of the same factor. It does not tell us to solve. It doesn't tell us to evaluate. That's all we're doing as that. Pause and try these ones right here. So we have 6 to the 4th power, which is 6 times 6 times 6 times 6, because we have 6 multiplied 4 times. 1 to the third power, or 1 cubed, 1 times 1 times 1, and then 9 to the fifth power, 9 times 9 times 9 times 9 times 9. Okay, so now we are going to evaluate powers, and how we do that is we multiply the factors. Numbers written without exponents are in standard form. So evaluate each expression. We have 2 to the fifth power. So that would be 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. And it tells us to evaluate, which means solve. Okay, so one way we can do this, because multiplying is commutative, so we can do it in any order, is I know that 2 times 2 is 4, and I know that another 2 times 2 is 4. So we have 4 times 4 times 2. Otherwise, of course, you could do 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16, times 2 is 32. Otherwise, we have 4 times 4 is 16, times 2 is also 32. And then we have 4 cubed, or 4 to the third power. 4 times 4 times 4. So 4 times 4 is 16, times 4 is 64. Okay, remember, we are writing it out, and this is how many times we multiply our base together. We are not multiplying the base times the exponent. Never, ever, ever, ever. We are multiplying the base as many times as the exponent tells us. You try these. So 10 squared is 10 times 10, which is 100. 7 cubed is 7 times 7 times 7. 7 times 7 is 49, times 7 is 343, and then 5 to the fourth power is 5 times 5 times 5 times 5, which is 625. And then lastly, numbers written with exponents are in exponential form. So this is the opposite of writing as the product of the same factor. This is writing a power as a product of the same factor. Remember how we did it a couple slides ago. All the factors written out multiplied by each other. 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. 3 is going to be my base, and then it's going to be to the fourth power because we have 1, 2, 3, 4 threes. Try these two. Come back and check. 5 times 5 times 5 is a base of 5 to the third power, or 5 cubed. And then we have 12 times 12 times 12 times 12 times 12, 12 times 12. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is going to be 12 to the sixth power. That's all I have for this video, so make sure you rewatch for better understanding. Please make sure you have your notes from this video with you in the next class period. If you did not take notes during this video, please go back and rewatch to take notes so that you have them with you in the next class period. Have a great day. Thanks for watching.